toy.
We want it bin.
I have spoken.
Welcome to episode 138 of the Smugglers Galaxy podcast, your favorite Star Wars podcast for smugglers in the galaxy. I'm Glenn. With me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, Jason. We're recording a little bit late. I was at a brewery for a couple hours today, so I may be a little loose, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. We'll see what happens. Jason, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing well. Can't complain.
Yeah, I mean,
not so loose as you, I would suspect, but maybe that means you're going to do the talking this time, not me.
I might do. I don't know, man. We were dropping the grandkids off, and next thing you know, we've been wanting to try out this brewery called Rock Solid up in Ball Ground, and the wife surprised me on the way home. She was like, "We're going." So I looked at the clock. It was 6 o'clock. I was like, "Oh crap, I got to record." So hurried up and paid the bill and came here, and now I'm recording.
Hopefully she was driving if you're a little loosey-goosey.
Yeah, she's always,
Okay,
she is my designated drunk driver, as she calls it. So
nice.
yeah, she's always driving. Dude, I drive too much during the week to drive during the weekend.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
So how's things going?
Good. I went down to the middle of nowhere for a clay shoot this week. My company puts on a charity clay shoot, and I passed a Target in Peachtree City, and they had the lat for $9.
Nice.
So I picked up a lat, and I actually opened it. So
dude,
I was able to use this extra speeder that I got in the blind box, because there's a tab in the back of the little lat where you can put the speeder bike. And it holds it there, and then I was able to get a couple extra clone troopers and put them on the side. There's one in the laser cannon ball thing there. It's a pretty cool toy. I like it a lot. I should open all of them.
Dude, Jazwares has got it, man. They know what they're doing with those. The lat, especially. There's a lot of hidden compartments in there, and it's like you said, it is a very cool toy. Yeah, I love them. I just wish they would catch on, or somebody, somehow would, love them as much as we do. The people that are up in the sky making the decisions for all the toy buying public.
Yeah. I also got a shipment this week from Hasbro Pulse.
Yeah.
They reissued, I can't remember now off the top of my head, the Wolf, the Rada, Nictu, something like that. They came out a while ago, but I never picked. No, wait. Yeah, there's one that I didn't have, and then the other two I just kept in the package. So I was like, I want to get them, put them on the barge, and then I opened them, which was horrifying. And I put them on the skiff.
Did you shake? You survived it though, right?
I survived, and I'm still here. I'm a survivor.
I'm a survivor.
Trying to find where these guys go on the barge was a little bit more challenging than it needed to be. And even like Wolf wasn't on the barge. Wolf was at one point, was it Wolf or Nick too? One of those. There's one character who was in a different costume on the skiff than he is in Jabba's palace. And at one point he was the same character, but over time, over the 40 years that Return of the Jedi's been out, they've changed that to be two different characters.
So they could sell more figures.
Probably. But I just put the one guy that's not supposed to be there guarding the jail in or the barracks, or not the barracks, what do you call it? The brig on the barge.
Okay. So they put him in the back where nobody sees him.
Yeah, he was out of frame. He was there. I promise he was there. He was just out of frame.
There you go. Sort of like all those the skiffs or whatever. But they, not the skiffs, they made those ships to continue the line.
Yeah, the mini rigs.
The mini rigs, yeah, they were just off frame. They were over there. They were there.
We just didn't see them.
Right.
How about you? Did you pick anything up?
The only thing I picked up was the one of the Wicket. I picked up a 40th anniversary Wicket for the wife, and that's it.
Did you open it?
No, I haven't opened it. I don't know if she's going to open it or not.
This just has some weird painting on the face.
I didn't pay that close of attention.
Yeah.
No, I did notice that the Luke retro, the Storm, the snow speeder was like discounted to like $4 at Target.
From Micro Galaxy?
No, from the Micro Retro, the one that's all different painted, the prototype.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Which surprises me that nobody wanted that figure. I mean, I guess maybe because it's the snow speeder one that it freaks people out, but or maybe they're just tired of them.
Yeah, I would imagine they're tired of them, but it's not a true vintage figure. It's like a new figure that they made to look vintage, and maybe it doesn't have the nostalgia that the other figures have.
I don't know, but I'm seeing them all over the place discounted. And then I'm not seeing a whole lot of the series 2. I mean, we've talked about it on chat and stuff, and
yeah,
series 2 of the Micro Galaxy Squadron. It's just they're hard to come by right now. But now I'm starting to see that the series 3 blind boxes are starting to pop up.
Yeah, it seems the blind boxes are ahead of the waves. Like series 3 blind boxes are starting to hit. But we still haven't got a full release of series 2 yet in stores, I don't think. Series 3, those haven't even hit the stores. They're supposed to be this summer, which means maybe Return of the Jedi wave this fall will be late. I don't know. There's just so much wave 1 on the store shelves right now that I think some of these stores are a little shy to put more out because they haven't cleared out what's there already.
Yeah. Especially the Walmarts that haven't put anything on clearance, that have, 50 of the tanks or whatever, the troop transports sitting there.
Troop transports, the Asajj Ventress ship is sitting there. Come on, people, buy them. Get them out.
Please buy them so we can buy more stuff.
I can't buy them all myself. Otherwise, I would. I'd be the hero of this story and buy every single Gen X, whatever it's, Starfighter.
I did see somebody post in one of the clubs, in one of the groups, that he's like, there were 3 left and I just bought them to clear the shelves out, to hopefully they'll bring more in.
Well, I appreciate your charity work, sir. I salute you.
I'm not going to do it. I don't need a Visage Ventress or whatever.
It's a cool ship.
Yeah. I did meet somebody last Sunday. We swung by Target and the Marauder was there, and he was like, "Are you going to buy it?" I'd picked it up. I'd looked at it, but I'm being particular with these ships. And he was like, "You're going to buy it?" I'm like, "No." I said, "It's all you, man." So he bought it, and we talked and showed him the podcast and showed him the club. So if you're listening to the podcast, hi, nice meeting you the other week. Hello there. Thanks for listening.
The Marauder is a cool ship. I guess it's the Havoc Marauder, and that's one that I consider buying to have on the shelf open.
Yeah. Are you still leaving yours closed?
Yeah,
box?
I'm buying them in box, and then as they go on discount, I buy another one to open, just to help clear out the store shelves, doing my part. I mean, some people run into burning buildings and save people. I buy things on clearance to clear store shelves. I mean, we're both heroes, so yeah.
It's always good to be the hero, man.
I say that sarcastically.
Oh, but we love Jazwares, man. We love the stuff. They've released some cool stuff. Hopefully in the future we'll be able to get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or at least have a pipeline. I know Amazon is pretty reliable to get the non-chase ships.
Yep. I have some news that I've been saving since Celebration.
Let's do it, man.
I was going to bring it up last week, but we had such a good conversation with Narayan. I didn't want to stop the flow and be like, in other words, in other news. But Entertainment Weekly is reporting that Crawl is coming back for future Star Wars movies. Previously, the yellow floating in space opening Crawl was used for the 9th Skywalker Saga films, the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, and the sequel trilogy. It was not used Yeah, we already know that. It was not used in Rogue One and Solo. When asked, Kennedy did not hesitate with the response, "The crawl is coming back."
Nice.
But what she said is even more interesting. When asked if the crawl would be returning for only the Rey film, Kennedy was equally direct. "No, the crawl is for movies." Which I agree.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, it was weird. Rogue One and Solo without having that crawl because Rogue One came out before Solo, right?
Yes.
So it was like, oh crap, we're going to start it.
Yeah, they were trying to find the voice of those anthology movies and trying to figure out what that is and what does it look like. Does it need to have the crawl? And I think the answer is yes.
Yes. The
Yes,
crawl needs to be there. So at least we know what's going on.
Yeah, or what happened before.
Yeah.
Jude Law is playing a Jedi in The Mandalorian, excuse me, in Skeleton Crew. And the Mandalorian villain Vane will make an appearance on the show.
Which one's Vane?
He's the one that was outside the school and the bar.
Oh, the pirate guy.
Pirate guy.
Well, but they were also hinting that the main guy was going to be the pirate, was going to be the villain too.
Did you see The Mandalorian?
Yeah, I saw that he blew up, but dude, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything because it could be before the Mandalorian, or it could be, hey, I was just messing with all these kids and decided to come mess with these people at Navarro because I got, couldn't handle the kids, so I decided to come mess with, Creed.
All right, let's take a time out and talk about that guy. What was his name? I don't remember. The pirate.
The pirate, the green guy.
Anyways, did you like him?
I thought
I'm talking about the design and execution specifically.
I thought he was too much of maybe a ripoff of Pirates of the Caribbean, the Davy Jones character in Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah. I enjoyed him. I'm almost at the point I am at the point with my Star Wars where I'm like, when my mind starts thinking that kind of stuff, I just want to poke it and be like, shut up, mind, because then it takes me out of the TV show. I did enjoy him. He was interesting. He was different. It's something we hadn't seen before in Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Because we do get to a point, I think, in Star Wars where everything is just regurgitated. And when we do see new characters, we don't know what to make of them. And I think that's what we fell into with that guy.
Yeah.
But I think he would make I think he would make a good character to bring up in like Skeleton Crew or bring him back up in Ahsoka. I think the way that Dave is planning on shooting a lot of this stuff is it's going to overlap. Where even though we've seen his demise in The Mandalorian, that doesn't mean we're done seeing him in other Star Wars movies or lore.
I liked him. I liked the design, and I liked that he was a puppet. I mean, you could tell it was a puppet. I like the fact that it was something tactile that, if Mandalorian reached out and touched him, he would actually be touching them and not a tennis ball with a guy in a green suit.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, you're right.
Because I was watching Ghosted this morning.
Yeah, practical effects is what you're going for.
Practical effects. I was watching Ghosted this morning, and there's this whole chase. It's a new Chris Evans, Ana de Armas movie on Apple Plus, but there's this car chase, and they're in a bus, and Chris Evans is like hanging off the side of the bus, but you can totally tell that it was CG, that it wasn't him on an actual bus. And it's just like, that's fake. Like, it's fake. It took me out of the movie.
Yeah, it's good to see in like 80, 90, in the 80s and early 90s movies where you could tell it's fake, but we're in 2023, man. It should be, better.
Yeah. So because of Hasbro, because of London, a bunch of people were asking all the Hasbro people questions, a bunch of YouTubers and Facebook group people. And they did ask Patrick about HasLabs and do they really need to be big? And he did say, no, it just needs to be a dream project. That doesn't mean that it needs to be big. However, they haven't done it yet, so it remains to be seen. Could they do like the smaller aliens from the cantina that would never sell in shells, possibly, but they haven't done it yet. So it's like, try to change things up and stop going for the multi-million-dollar dream to help your quarter. Make something for us. Give us one.
Right, exactly. No, I agree with that. Because I think it's easier to sell, because you'll see it at toy shows, and it's you can have the real nice, pretty things that are several $100s up on the top shelf, but the stuff that sells is the $5 and $10 buckets, and that's what a lot of people make their money on at toy shows. And maybe Hasbro needs to adopt that plan where they sell something for $100, and they may not sell. You're going to sell 20,000 of them versus 10,000 of them, and that's how you're going to make your money.
Yeah. They did ask about the TVC Wampa.
Yeah.
Because they have a Black Series Wampa that they've sculpted. So, similarly with the speeder bike that they made in the Black Series and scaled down to TVC, could they do it with the Wampa? They said, well, can't announce. We can't talk about anything, but we hear you. So
I'd buy it. I'd put it with my Wampa Army Builders.
That's why I bring it up. There was a lot that they brought up, and I brought it up for you.
Yes.
They heard the feedback about the alternative card back, because just to give the line some newness in Return of the Jedi, they changed out some of the card backs in the original run. And so that's something they're going to consider going forward, so they can just add some newness to some of the things that they just keep reissuing over and over again. I saw someone interview Emily's SWTVC on YouTube, and they asked why they changed the card backs to include an animated image when the intent was to always be realistic. That's why later in the original run of TVC, you have a more accurate representation, a realistic representation of Ahsoka and Obi-Wan and Anakin from the Clone Wars. They photoshopped that to make it look like the computer animated look, but actually with Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor. She said that the Tartakovsky cardbacks was a special occasion, but the intent is to keep with the realistic look. So I don't know. I mean, they've got the comic book look coming now, so with the comic book Boba Fett, I don't know if that's a special occasion.
I would assume it's just a money grab occasion.
Yeah.
I've been looking for that.
You said it, not me.
Yeah. I've been looking for that Kinder Deco TVC that I want to buy it, but I don't want to buy it at $22, but because I think it's a cool deco. But it is. The ones that they went crazy on, why would I want to spend $22, $25 on those?
I saw several questions about why the Bad Batch has been made for the Black Series twice. You got the first season, the second season, but we don't have any for TVC yet. They kind of skirt around the issue. I mean, we have Hunter coming. They say it's a golden age of Star Wars and there's too much content. But if you read between the lines, they follow the money. I think there's more profit for them in Black Series. Case in point is the fact that they've already produced the Bad Batch twice for the Black Series, and they haven't done anything for the Vintage Collection. So, if you're making more money with TVC than Black Series, and more money with Black Series than TVC, you're going to follow the Black Series.
Which I understand that, but they've already done all the work. All they got to do is scale it down, right?
Yeah, you would think, but there was a couple of interviews about that, and they said it's more than just scaling it down, because you've got the wall thickness, which is a true thing. Like a thin wall on a Black Series, if you scale that down to TVC, it's going to be even more thin, or thinner, and if it's going to easily, push and pull where it shouldn't, and you have to have an engineer come in and resculpt it. So it's a starting point, but they still have to do a lot of resculpting, and the joints are different. Allegedly, I'm just saying what they said. Apparently, it's what they say. New Star Tours will hit in 2024. If I was a betting man, I'd slap $500 on the table right now and say Mando and Din Grogu's going to be making an appearance on Star Tours.
Get me started on that crap. I did have a proud grandpa moment today, because we had the grandkids this weekend, and my wife actually bought him a $5 baby Yoda little doll, because they were at Bargain Hunt or something, and she found it. And then anyway, So he'd been playing with that all weekend, but we were talking about, we were watching The Mandalorian and they said Sabine. So I was like, oh, you want to see Sabine? So I played him the Ahsoka trailer and Chopper popped up and I'm like, who's that? And he goes, that's Chopper. And I'm like,
Womp, 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 womp.
I'm like, good for you. I can understand him not recognizing, especially Sabine, because looks totally different. And Hera, he should know who Hera was, but he was like, that's Chopper. And I'm just like, yeah, buddy.
Yeah, boy. Did you order that chopper?
I'm waiting for that to go on clearance. I don't want to pay $80 for it.
And that's the problem with collecting for a toy company these days. It's all the clearance game. I
know it's going to be. I mean, it's a cool. I'll put it to you this way. I don't think it's worth the $80 because I bought the Chewbacca that was $80 and it ends up sitting on the shelf. It doesn't do. You don't play with it. You put it on the shelf. So, or you play with it for a minute and, it's fun. And then you forget about all the features.
And by you mean I.
Yes, exactly. I play with it. I bought the interactive Chewbacca for my wife and I ended up paying like $70 for it because I think it was like $120 when it first came out. And yeah, you forget about all the features that it has and then it sits on the shelf. And then every now and again, you're like, oh, cool, it does something. Let me play with it. I kind of lumped that Chopper in the same boat. And I think if I wasn't going to Galaxy's Edge in a month, it would be a different story, but I'm holding out for the Chopper, Droid Depot Chopper.
Mm-hmm.
That I think is a better, even though it's going to be more money, it may be better. Let me put it to you this way. I know the Droid Depot Chopper is never going to go on clearance and that other Chopper probably will. Yeah. So it's not an $80 value to me, even though that's what they price that kind of stuff at.
Yeah, like I was curious to hear your thoughts on it.
I think it's about a $50 toy, not an $80 toy. But I'm not thinking adding for inflation and I'm a cheap ass.
Yeah. There was a live stream last week with Maxwell Lux he's a senior brand manager for Micro Galaxy Squadron, and he shared a lot. One of the things that I quickly jotted down because I love this as a marketing person, rejected names for the line.
They were so good.
So when they got the line to make these miniature vehicles from Star Wars, they threw down, what are we going to call this line? They threw out a bunch of names, including Fleet Force, Squadron Force, Battalion Builders, Icon Squadron, Battle Brigade, which I think he said Battle Brigade might come back for something. Mini Galaxy, Tiny Squadron, Micro Wars, Galactic Assault, Mini Power Riders, Mini Riders of the Galaxy, Space Racers, Battle Wings, Mini Starfighters, Tiny Riders of the Republic, Pocket Zooms.
Oh my God.
Pocket Zooms. I'm collecting Pocket Zooms. Obviously, Micro Galaxy Squadron 1, and it's probably the best of those.
Yeah, Pocket Zooms could be so much stuff that you don't want your kids. I got a Pocket Zoom.
Yeah.
You got a what?
Pocket Zoom.
Oh,
come over here, kids, and see.
Come look at my Pocket Zoom.
He did say an Andor vehicle was coming, which I wonder if that's Lucian's ship.
That's a cool ship.
Is that his name? Lucian? I can't
remember. You're close enough. You're close enough for this podcast. How's that?
It's not close enough for me. I should
everything.
Yeah, everything needs to be right. Otherwise, I won't be able to sleep tonight. Possibly a Solo Falcon.
Dude, that would be badass. I'd buy the Solo Falcon.
Especially one that can pop off, pieces as it gets closer to the maw. And it reveals itself as more of the Falcon we know. So it's nice and clean, but it's got little compartments that pop off to strip it down to make it look more like the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, I would totally buy the Solo Falcon because it kind of struck you weird, but they put that piece on the nose. So us Star Wars nerds are like, I get that. I know why they did that. It's, they may not, whoever invented that Falcon may not know why they did that, but as a Star Wars nerd, I think it's a good nod to the expanded line that they tried doing after Power of the Force 2.
Yeah. I believe an E-Wing is coming.
That would be
And
cool.
I believe a variant of that E-Wing will be a chase.
Will it have Sabine riding a speeder bike?
Yes. Disney Parks, I believe, wants to make a Star Speeder 3000 with Rex.
That would be so awesome.
There was an option to ask questions, and luckily I'll be able to ask some of these questions in person real soon because Max is coming back. But I asked about more Rogue One love because so far we only have what do we have?
We don't have anything Rogue One, do we?
Well, okay. So the U-Wing is coming.
Oh, the U-Wing's such a badass ship.
He said there's more vehicles on the way. They want to make all the TIE fighters, the TIE series of vehicles, including the TIE tank. Is there a tank or something like that at one point?
Yeah, so I don't know if
there was
that's got to be EU, but yeah.
There's also I think the Mining Federation or whatever had the yellow TIE fighters. I think that's coming. But I think coming back, the TIE Striker is the one that's from Rogue One. I think that's coming. Hopefully we'll get God, I'm blanking. What's his face? Director Krennic's ship, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Director Krennic's ship and all of the Death Troopers.
Dude, I would love that yellow TIE fighter because that's right out of Rebels, man. And truthfully, if they did, because the TIE fighters, they already have the cockpits done. All you're doing is changing the wings out. So you would think all you got to do is it would be a simple, I don't know what it costs to do wings, but
but they made it in a way where the wings pop off.
Right.
And so you pop on new wings. It's the same body, which has to save some money, but you just pop on new wings.
Right. I mean, that was a smart move on them.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm down because I know we gripe on Hasbro and I don't, but I think Jazwares is doing it right. They're not ashamed to go, hey, look, we're doing this to save money, which I think if Hasbro would have been like, hey, we're doing all this crap to save money, people would be down for it. I think Jazwares is definitely put all their cards on their table. They're not scared to let you know what's really going on in the background.
I appreciate that transparency.
Right.
And then he also said, tune in this week, which I think is the Tuesday this episode drops for the last Mandomania. I believe that they're going to release the N1 Starfighter, not the Ghost.
Yeah.
Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni will be revealing it, and Max did say that they took the vehicle home with them.
Well, then I totally forgot about the N1 Starfighter.
So Mando Monday is what they've been using as the marketing tool to promote and release new product for the Mandalorian season 3. But I'm like, what are they going to call Ahsoka? Awesome Ahsoka-ness?
Ahsoka Monday. I don't know.
But
Ahsoka
they're trying
Wednesdays.
Mando Mania. You got to.
Yeah.
Ahsoka Spectacular.
I'm sure they've got a list full of things they're working on, man.
Ahsoka
Tano Tuesdays.
Yeah, there it is.
Ahsoka Tuesdays.
That's Ahsoka Tano Tuesdays. It's probably what it's going to be. It's just they've given up. We can't do anything. It doesn't rhyme with Mania. Just Tano Tuesdays.
Yeah, and I think
that's all it's going to be. Tano Tuesdays.
That's if they're smart. That's when we're going to get the Ghost. Is let Ahsoka run for a month and then release the Ghost.
And then at Celebration London, they did reveal the AT-AT for $60 with electronics. Max hinted we'll get another Imperial shuttle at some point because he did say that there's a large number of seats in the cockpit.
Mm-hmm.
So I would imagine we get the Return of the Jedi version with the entire crew, with Han, Leia, probably in the poncho, Luke, C-3PO, R2-D2. But the current version with the Emperor and 2 Royal Guards will run you $30, which it's just a good deal.
Yeah.
He hinted at the Starfighter class, which is currently $16.99 going down to $14.99. So that's pretty. That's something I want to ask him about. How is that possible?
Right.
Everything is going up. How is it possible that your product is going down?
And by Starfighter class, you mean like the X-Wings and the Darth Vader TIE Fighter, that line?
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, because there's the TIE Fighter, the normal TIE Fighters, I think, is one below that, right?
Yes, you're right. Yeah. For the Series 3 blind pack, they completely redesigned the Stormtrooper to be a better Stormtrooper, meaning like doesn't look like he's just wearing glasses anymore. Like they've tried to add more color detail. So they resculpted it to make it easier for paint application.
Okay.
They improved the speeder bike color for Series 4 blind packs. I did find out that the chase in that one is Paploo on the speeder bike with the explosion effect in the back. They announced a B-Wing, a U-Wing, a T-70, a Y-Wing, a V-Wing, TIE Silencer, Desert Skiff, and Geonosis Starfighter. Max did talk about somebody who came up to him afterwards or towards the end of Celebration and talked about someone that they lost who was a B-Wing collector, and they talked a long time. And as he started to share the story, I realized that I knew the person he was talking about. So I was able to grab a screen grab and share that with that person. And he was incredibly touched that Micro Galaxy Squadron would do that. So the individual who's no longer with us was a B-Wing collector, and they can't change the name of the pilot because it's Lucasfilm's territory, but behind the scenes, they're going to call the pilot of not the one that's about to hit, but another release of the B-Wing. They're going to name it after the person who's no longer with us.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because I know some of our friends from like the Cincinnati and Kentucky club. Yeah, I was at a con and they were selling stuff for them. So that's awesome.
It's very touching. And so Series 5 blind, I don't know. I'm just going to get sad. Series 5 blind packs, Nikto Speeder with Boba on it, like a banta. That would be the chase.
Hey, Ted, I'm going to buy one for you, buddy. You need that just because.
Dirge with the Speeder is going to be rare with the Aura Singh with the Speeder. It's going to be rare. And there's a Geonosis Warrior, Anakin with the Swoop, Rey with the Speeder from TFA, and Bolatar Swoop with Mando. I don't know. He rides every bike, and it's just like, let's make one for that.
Right. Well, got to save money somehow, man.
Whatever you do, don't ask him if IG-11 is technically a vehicle now, because he said he came back that episode to work, and that was everyone's joke. Does that mean IG-12 is a vehicle? Can we make that one?
Yes.
It's not funny. It's not funny. It's not funny. So don't bring that up. Just don't bring that one up.
All he's got to do is remake the mold, right? Just turn the body around.
Yeah.
And then he'd be good.
Yes.
Could you imagine trying to put a little Grogu in the little bitty IG-11?
No,
that would be ridiculous.
No. I got a couple more here. The Series 5 assortment will include a V-Wing of some sort, which will be a chase, a first order TIE that's going to be damaged, which is going to be rare, a B-Wing, a TIE silencer, a V-19 Torrent fighter, first order TIE fighter, and some sort of classified walker. They didn't really say which one. Light armor class will include the twin cloud pilot. I could talk tonight. Resistance A-Wing. Desert Skiff with Han and Nikto, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
If we get the Skiff, at some point we have to have the barge. Geonosis and Starfighter with Kit Fisto will be the chase. Starship class, we get the U-Wing with Jyn Erso, Cassian, and K2. And then finally, Amazon exclusive, AT-AT Endor, Ahsoka Starfighter Evolution Pack, Battle of Coruscant with Anakin, Obi-Wan interceptors, and 2 Vulture droids, Battle of Endor with a TIE interceptor and a Falcon. The Falcon's been resculpted a little bit, so it has the broken radar dish, but it does come with 9 Num and General Lando Calrissian. Finally, there's 4 SDCC exclusives this year for Micro Galaxy Squadron.
Son of a bitch! All right, which one hit me? Well, I want to talk about the Ahsoka, but hit me with those. What
we don't know what they are yet.
Oh, okay.
But there will be 4.
Because that blue one. The clear blue one is like $500.
I might be able to get someone to get me at least one of them, so we'll see.
You and your hustling, man. You've become. I need
every
some
day.
Of your,
I'm hustling. Don't hate the player, hate the game,
dude. I need to hit some of your hookups, man. Because you every now and again, it seems like at least two or three times a week, you're messaging me going, "Look what somebody's sending me. Look, or not sending me, but look what I'm getting. All this," and I'm like, "Damn, Jason."
Yeah, that Sabine tie was too expensive.
I did see that pop up. I think
Yeah.
I know I saw it pop up on the Micro Galaxy thing. And yeah, he was wanting, if it's the same one I'm thinking of, somebody had posted it. There it was an open Sabine, an open Hera, and then 2 of the scout
Land
vehicles.
packs.
And they were wanting like $250 for the lot. And I'm like, that's just, I can't justify that. I'm still trying to play the long game because you know, I want to get back to the Ahsoka, but the Ahsoka evolution pack or whatever, I just have a feeling that they haven't hit, because, you know, they were supposed to produce 5,000 of the Sabine TIE fighters. I don't think they produced 5,000 of them, because I'm even asking people that are at other conventions or at other toy shows out of state. I'm like, hey, have you seen any of these? And they're not hitting the toy show circuit. I mean, I'm not even seeing them pop up on eBay or Mercari that much anymore. So I think the supply is just dried up on those. So I don't think they released anywhere near the 5,000 that they were supposed to on the Sabine TIE Fighter or the Hera or the second wave stuff. I think everything's kind of bottlenecked right now. Like you said earlier, you know, the shelves are still full of the Series 1 stuff. So the Series 2 stuff is just sitting there somewhere in that we don't know about, and we're just waiting for it to be released. But anyway, this Ahsoka one you were talking about, that the Ahsoka Starfighter was a chase, but they changed it. They took the hyper space ring off of it, and they're releasing it with another ship, but one Ahsoka and the droid with 2 ships.
Mm-hmm.
So we were kind of hoping that they would do that with the Rey. The Sabine TIE Fighter. But I mean, if that ship pops up on Amazon, you said it's an Amazon exclusive, I'll buy it just to get the Ahsoka ship, because I really don't want, because those ships, when you put the hyperspace ring on it, they don't sit right.
Right.
They should have put an extra stand.
It's kind of awkward. It's kind of awkward the way it sits.
Right. So you're going to end up displaying it without the hyperspace ring on it anyway. So who gives a crap?
Does Sabine paint another TIE fighter?
I don't think so.
No, because I was thinking, because he wants to keep it exclusive. He doesn't want to like re-release it. It would have to change some way. So I thought maybe someday they could do like a Ghost and a Ghost and a Sabine TIE fighter at some point. But that would be a straight repack without changing the paint apps.
Maybe
that's what he wants to avoid.
Maybe they can do the Sabine without a helmet or something silly like that.
Man, I don't feel like I'm on my game. I'm not remembering any names. I'm screwing names up.
Dude, it's all good, man. It's like 8 o'clock on a Sunday. It's like 8:15 on a Sunday. We're good. You remember we were talking about, stop, Siri. My Siri started talking to me. I don't know why. But you had shown me some figures, that some of the pre-production stuff, some pre-production figures. And one of them was the female Mandalorian body.
Yeah.
That was Sabine, because I was looking at a Bo-Katan somebody was doing some repaints of, and the Bo-Katan doesn't have arm or like the ammo packs around her ankles or calves. The Sabine does. So they're 2 different molds. So that's kind of cool. Just we were just talking. We don't.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I missed that. I didn't realize they changed. I just figured they'd use the same body for both characters.
Well, that's what I thought too. But then when I saw that the Bo-Katan somebody was repainting them, I looked at, specifically look at her calves, and they don't have the ammo packs around it like the Sabine one did.
I would have gone harder on it. But anyways.
That's all right. Dude, it's my fault for not realizing what they were, because you'll be in the middle of stuff and you're like, oh, those are cool. And then you don't think about it until it's too late, until you're trying you got people trying to make deals on stuff and you don't want to be the asshole to break it up.
Yeah.
And overpay for stuff.
So, yeah. There's a bunch of Hasbro stuff that we didn't talk about. I think the one that I want to bring up is the N1 Starfighter. From everybody I've heard who's seen that in person, Ryan was saying this last week, it looks amazing. Yeah. So more of those came available this week on Hasbro Pulse.
And it's only like $100. I mean, only $130, but I've seen a lot more ships because the Boba Fett, the Slave One, the repack of the Slave One that they did for Book of Boba Fett is at $200. That ship was $130 a year ago.
Yeah. Well, that was COVID, pre-COVID.
Right. pre-COVID.
But
Yeah.
but anyways, yeah, it's still a staggering amount of money that's gone up. But I do want to say, like, Hasbro needs to get their act together, because they did say that Tuscan 4-pack
Uh-huh.
was going to be $55, and then when it was released, it was 60, or it was 50, and then when it was released, it was 55. Like, how does it change so much in a week that
Right.
when you issue the press release, it's $50, but when they put it up for pre-order, it's suddenly $5 more? What happened in that week? Same thing with the N1 Starfighter. They said it was going to be $129.99. Went up for pre-order, it's $131.
Huh.
What happened? I mean, it's just, so what? It's $2, right?
Right.
But what happened that you didn't have your crap together the week before to say, no, it's $131?
Maybe they were thinking pounds, and then all of a sudden it's dollars, since
Yeah.
it was in Europe.
No. That 4-pack does come with a reissue of Re-Yeez, this time with the correct hyphenated name pill,
Ooh.
which was pointed out in the TVC Archive Edition book.
Uh-huh.
So it's cool to see that Hasbro's paying attention to some of that stuff. They reissued it with the correct. Maybe it's too little, too late. Why put that in that 4-pack? They could have put other figures in it, but
Maybe people were re-reasing it, re-wanting it.
it's weird that they're reissuing the. It's weird that they're doing it now, years after the barge. I know it's the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi, but like you can't reissue the barge. It's going to be way too expensive now. It's going to be more than $500.
Right.
But at least they're still showing love. There was a bunch of Black Series stuff that was released. I got all of the Return of the Jedi stuff because I thought that was cool, but I skipped the Cad Bane, the Amiga. I got the Royal Guard. Jabba the Hutt I ordered, which was a Pulse exclusive. I don't think it's going to come with a carded Salacious, but I did like the box.
Maybe it will, so it could shut you up.
No, this would be Black Series, though.
Oh.
But that's it for the news.
Yeah. Nothing too. I mean, I have seen the bunker. I'm seeing the bunker hit Target shelves, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Seeing it.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And I don't think I'm still looking for the Inner Deco TVC Boba Fett. And I was just thinking while we were talking about Micro Galaxy Squadron, there is not an official, like, old school Return of the Jedi Boba Fett in the Micro Galaxy Squadron line yet.
No.
We got Dad Bod Fett with the Slave One.
Yeah. We'll have to get that at some point with a carbonite block.
Oh, that could be like wow, yeah. Because they could do that without re-releasing the Slave One, I think. They could put that as a blind box or something.
No, usually those come with a vehicle. So what vehicle would you be riding in the carbonite block?
I don't know, man. Maybe you could put maybe it could be like a not a battle pack or something where it comes with a couple of 3 or 4 stormtroopers and the Slave One and not the Slave One, the carbonite block and the Boba Fett.
Yeah. No, I think they would reissue it. I think they would reissue the Slave One again.
Damn. Want another Slave One? I've already got the Django and the Boba Fett. I don't want another one. I don't need another one.
But this one will have the old school Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett, the one you're just asking for.
I know. Maybe if they come down more. I could see them doing it, though. Well, I don't know. But that Django Boba Fett was like, Django Slave One was down to like $10, wasn't it? Or really
yeah, at one
cheap.
point it was clearance. Yeah, that's how I got mine. I actually bought the other one too for the giveaway.
Wow.
For the podcast.
Yeah, I bought the Django Slave One because it did get cheap, and it was kind of cool to have the Slave One before it got really messed up because it was a clean Slave One. It was cool having that ship in different paint deco.
Yeah. Ackworth Target had 2 snow speeders today. I almost picked them up just so I can open them and then have that with the AT-AT, but
yeah, I was kind of the AT-AT I thought was a little bit off scale, but then when you see it with a snow speeder, it's pretty damn close. It's a lot closer.
With little Luke hanging from it too, it looked about right.
Yeah, because the only footage you originally saw was Max holding it, and you're like, that doesn't look right. And look, I got an AT-AT shirt on today to make it even better. It didn't look right. It didn't look to scale because we're all thinking, we're assuming the Kenner scale for an AT-AT, and you were like, that doesn't look right. And then when you saw it, they made this really awesome diorama of it, and of him like stepping on stuff, on him stepping on snow speeders, and it was to scale. It was pretty damn close.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to get into diorama building. I think that's where my passion is going forward.
Awesome. You just need more space, man.
Yeah, I know. I need a bigger boat.
Yeah, you need to kick more kids at the house. Be like, kids, you got to get out of high school. I need your room for diorama building.
Move. I need your room. Move. You're out. I don't care if you need to sleep. I need to build dioramas. So I didn't make any notes. I only watched it once this week. The Mandalorian, The Return.
You only watched it once?
I've been busy. It's been busy. Like I said, I went down to the clay shoot. I had a Boy Scout thing on Saturday, yesterday. So like I haven't had time to breathe this week.
Did it suck that bad for you? Or you
No. I didn't think it was that bad.
Oh God. I woke up at 4:30. I normally wake up at 5, but I woke up at 4:30 that Wednesday because to me it was like Christmas. It was what's going to happen. Something big is going to happen. The way that they have been pushing this and saying, oh, it's going to hurt. You don't want another episode of The Mandalorian. You're going to cry and it's going to be amazing. And when it's over, you're like, where was my oh shit moment?
Yeah, it wrapped up really nice.
Yeah. The second go through, once I got past the where was my oh shit moment, it was better for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got some notes, but we can just
go through your notes in a minute. But I was a little worried because I did post that thing the night before on our Georgia group. Like, keep your mouth shut, people.
Yeah.
Don't spoil it for anyone. Like, seriously, I think not a single episode went by this season where it wasn't spoiled by 5 p.m.
Dude, it's getting spoiled when I wake up in the morning. I'm legitimately waking up at 4:30, 4:45 in the morning. And for some dumbass reason, I'm on Facebook and you're seeing people are posting it like an hour after the show's aired.
That's like another thing, like to be first and report. Like, is that all you have in life?
Yeah.
You feel compelled to spoil it for people just so you have some control and
you're
power?
You're on TikTok and you're seeing TikToks at 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, people posting TikToks about it. And you're like,
oh, I quit TikTok.
Dude, I need to. It's getting ridiculous.
There's weird. I don't want to put the conspiracy tinfoil hats on, but weird things was happening on my TikTok. I'll tell you later. It's a different thing.
Okay.
But
like on your Facebook, when you say, hey, I need doorknobs, and all of a sudden you're getting,
no,
okay. It's worse. Okay.
No, it's stupid. Like,
okay.
I would say I want to be involved with like art, woodworking people, 3D printing people, Star Wars people, cosplay people, like the nerd stuff, collectors, that kind of stuff. And somehow like political discord gets in there. I'm like, no, I don't want that. There's an option to say, no, I don't want that.
Right.
And it'll stop. But then it comes back and I'm like, what is going on? There's nothing in my algorithm that suggests that I want to watch this. And
That's
if you swipe fast, that's supposed to tell the algorithm I'm not interested. And even sometimes when that stuff would come up, I would close the app to say, you lost me. But it would still come up. Like there's something weird with TikTok. I'm out. But anyways, I want to talk about Moff Gideon.
Let's talk about Moff Gideon for a minute.
Is Moff Gideon dead?
The Moff Gideon as we know it, I think the OG Moff Gideon may be dead, but I think there's a possibility that one of his clones got out, or that is out somewhere in the world, or it might be one of his clones. But Star Wars is really bad about not letting people effing die. It's true.
Yeah, that's why I'm laughing, because it's true.
Everybody comes back. I mean, look at IGA 11. He came back. It's like, dude, let the guy die. I don't think he's dead. I think he's too good of a character to let die. I think they're going to Darth Maul him, or he's going to. There's one of two things. He was a clone, or one of his clones escaped, or you're going to pop up and you're going to see Thundercat putting it back together, and he's going to be in a back to tank next season, or whatever the next iteration of the Mandalorian is going to be. I'm
hesitant about speculating because I was off on so many levels this week, because or this whole season, because at one point I thought Bo-Katan and Mandalorian they had something they're going on. We were trying to figure out, there was a whole week there, we were trying to figure out who the spies were, because it was plural. Turns out it was just a typo. There was only one. Unless they're saying the Shadow Council are spies. It's like a network of spies spying on the New Republic.
I've also heard a rumor that the search party were the spies.
Yeah, but they didn't turn against.
Well, they were spying for the Mandalorians to see how Mandalore was.
Yeah, I mean, that's a stretch.
That's how crazy things are. People trying to figure out who these spies are. But yeah, the last episode of The Mandalorian, we are everybody that is a content creator speculating on the last season of the Mandalorian walked away with egg on their face, because he just took that, Dave Filoni, and they just took that and flipped it around and said, everything you're thinking of, we're not going to give you any of that. So here you go.
But someone did speculate that, and this wasn't me, but Moff Gideon in the first two seasons wore a mustache. Yes. And this Gideon did not wear a mustache. And if you look at all the clones, none of them wore a mustache. So is that the primer to suggest that it's not him, that it's actually a clone in that armor?
Dude, Superman got away with it with glasses and without glasses.
But to counterpoint that, I mean, he was suggesting that he was taking Grogu's DNA and putting it in his clones to make him force sensitive.
Right.
This one didn't show any force sensitivity, or he didn't have the ability, or he wasn't trained well enough to use it at that point. But
he could have been the first generation of a clone. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him to. I mean, I've seen enough bad guys out there when it comes to cloning that all of a sudden it's a clone or it's another guy. Or I mean, look at freaking Luke with 2 U's, or the guy from the evil Jedi on from Heir to the Empire. That's a clone.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's precedent in it in Star Wars. So I mean, dude, I don't know. At this point, I'm so done speculating on that show, because they just turned it upside down. And I think that's another reason why I was kind of bummed with it, because I was expecting so much more out of that episode, and they delivered a bunch, and they delivered a good episode, but it just wasn't what I was expecting. The only oh crap moment we had was the Darksaber getting destroyed.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even it was like, oh crap, I can't believe they did that. It wasn't a tear moment, but I mean, even when the ship came in and blew up the base, I had a moment where I was just like, oh man, we're going to lose all 3 of them. Meaning Din Djarin, Bo-Katan, and Grogu. Yeah. I was like, wow, they're going to let us lose all 3 of them.
No.
And then Grogu pulled the Kanan and saved everybody.
Yeah, I was wondering what your thoughts on that.
It took me, I didn't realize it until more people, somebody had speculated, and we were like, look, he's pulling a Kanan. And he was like, he was so powerful in the Force, and Kanan wasn't that powerful. And then somebody went, well, he wasn't sitting on a 5,000 gallon jug of jet fuel when it was on fire. So yeah, there was definitely some parallels there, but I mean, I'm like, that's a cool parallel. I
had someone kind of complain that the whole Grogu finding the Mandalorian and coming to his rescue, it's like he was being taken away, the door separated them. And I'm like, well, think of this as like a 6-year-old, because if you're 6 years old, you would just accept the fact that he used the Force and he navigated the thing and he found Mandalorian, he found Din. Don't overthink this.
I was surprised that that it was sort of that, okay, cool, he's going to fight his way out, and they're going to, He'll try to fight his way out, but he's not going to make it, not going to free himself. And then all of a sudden there's Grogu at IG-11. And it was sort of like, okay. Like I said, dude, I've gotten to the point with The Mandalorian where I have to suspend reality for the half an hour and just sit there and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was fun that he came to his rescue and then he sprayed him with the back to spray. And he's just like, dude, stop. I'm good. I mean, it was fine. How else is he going to get free? It was, no. I mean, I think
It was good.
it was good. I was fine with it, especially the second watch through. I saw it with like a different set of eyes. It felt more like a movie. It felt like they were going back to like the old school Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, when they're sneaking around the Death Star.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, I think it was okay. Let me.
I'll tell you what.
Go ahead.
I'll tell you what Favreau did really well, and he had a theme this season.
Mm-hmm.
And Bo-Katan said it several times that the Mandalorians are stronger together,
right?
Separate, they're weak, and that's what happened on Mandalore. They were separated. They were made to feel like they were weak, and the Empire won. She sees that if all the Mandalorians came together, they could be strong again. And that last episode really highlighted that, because when the Mandalorian Din was fighting Moff Gideon, the Mandalorian would have died had Bo-Katan not come in and said, "I'll take it from here." Grogu would have died he would have been killed against the 3 Praetorian guards had the Mandalorian not come in and saved them. And they worked together, like stronger together. And then finally, Bo-Katan would have died against Moff Gideon had the Mandalorian and Grogu not come back out, and they all took him together. So it really showed the theme of the season, that last episode, that together they're stronger,
right?
Separate they're weak.
Yeah. No, I agree with that, because you were able to see, like you said, you saw Grogu fight with Din Djarin. You saw Grogu grow in the Force. That those 2 years with Luke Skywalker really helped him out, because he was able to do more things with the Force, and was able to realize, okay, I'm going to stop this guard from getting this weapon. And then Din Djarin was able to attack him and kill him or whatever. He was able to give Din Djarin just enough help to win over those 3 Praetorian guards. And the same thing with Moff Gideon. He was able to give just enough help to help everybody. And like you said, and they are better together. And how badass is Bo-Katan to stand up against Moff Gideon in a freaking battle suit and hold her own for a good part of it.
Yeah.
And, Moff Gideon must be a really bad fighter to, either that or Bo-Katan's that much of a badass to hold her own with somebody in a freaking cyborg suit.
Maybe it's both. I did like, a lot of people were giving the ending crap, but it was called or at least the Fade Out.
Yeah.
But that's like an old Western where the hero's sitting on his front porch, legs are up, the kids are playing in the front yard, prairie. It just, it felt the theme of The Mandalorian being a Western.
Yeah.
I like that the episode was called The Return, and we see the mythosaur open its eyes.
Right.
It's awakened. The Mandalorians are back, essentially. They're now a thriving civilization. This is just the seed that's been planted, and the roots are starting to sprout, and we're going to get a full-fledged civilization once again.
I also, there again on TikTok, saw that if you look at Return of the Jedi, if you look at, was it Revenge of the Sith, if you look at Rise of Skywalker, those 3 movies all end with that circle wipe.
Oh, yes, they do.
So it's sort of a symbolization, huh?
So is the first one.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, when they're on the throne scene, the light kind of circles in.
Okay, I haven't gone back to clarify but it's a thread. I know at least some of them in with the circle wipe. So it's either a throwback or it's a end of a chapter.
It doesn't bother me. It did feel like the end of phase one. Like if this was the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it did feel like seasons 1 through 3
Uh-huh.
is the story about the Mandalorians coming back. It's the first phase. Now we're going to move into phase 2 with Ahsoka and Thrawn.
Yeah, I really think I think they're having to make up because I don't know how much of Rangers of the New Republic was written, but I think they're trying to weave that into the Mandalorian a little bit. Especially with is it Grief Car? No, is it Grief? Well, the X-wing pilot though.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
With him coming into things, I think with them with that show getting canceled, they're having to weave some of that into the Mandalorian because I'm sure there was some of the story that was going to take place in that show. Now they're having to bring it into the Mandalorian, and I think that's what we're kind of seeing.
Yeah.
I was upset that there wasn't an end credit scene, especially for what I had in my head canon. But it is what
you got to watch that head canon. Keep that in check,
dude. I've got 4 months, and I'm really, really after. As much as I enjoyed this season of The Mandalorian, I've been fighting my headcanon ever since the sequel trilogy. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to really fight it with Ahsoka coming up because I'm expecting a lot out of that show.
Yeah. Anyways, what's your note say?
We've gone over most of it.
Oh, okay.
No, it was like the second view. I didn't get my oh shit moment. Felt like it was a movie the way it was shot. Was Moff Gideon a clone? And then set up for the Rangers. You see Dave at the bar again?
Yeah, he was there. Full, like,
all three of them were there. I mean, dude, you know what?
I'm here. He's waving his hands.
Hey, everybody!
Hey, everybody!
Only thing that would be worse is if he went and goes, "Hey, can I get a blue milk or a bantha milk or something?" If they would have gone, "Hey, can I get a fuzzy tauntaun?"
Yeah, something like that.
That and dude, how bad is the interference on Mandalore to where you saw the Mandalorian ships go on the surface and the TIE fighters come back up to surface, and they literally felt like they missed each other, and they could have, it's like that one meme from Umbrella
It was the
Academy.
cloud coverage.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, I accepted that. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, no, it was accept. There's a lot of this crap where you end up watching too much stuff on the YouTubes and Facebook and everything. I thought it was pretty badass. I mean, the way Axe Wolves was getting ready to almost sacrifice himself. It amazes me when somebody's willing to sacrifice something so big to get the upper hand and win a battle, like the capital ship.
Well, it was their homeworld. This was huge for them.
Yeah. So, I mean, they were willing to sacrifice that big ship to get their homeworld back. So that it always kind of takes me back when somebody's willing to do that. Yeah, and then in the bar, somebody had pointed out, they were like, the trophies was not something the New Republic does. There was a certain someone that started that in a certain cartoon.
Oh.
And then there was somebody from said cartoon that was at that base. So somebody had said that was sort of it could be an ode to Rebels, that Zeb was, because Ezra was collecting trophies of Stormtrooper helmets, and Zeb was at the base, and they started collecting trophies.
Yeah.
Zeb as a homage to Ezra. So I just think it was a neat way to get IG-11 back up and running, but whatever.
Yeah, I liked it. I didn't hate it as much as other people. I thought it wrapped up really well. I was surprised how well they wrapped and tied up all of the loose ends. And I was a little confused as to why it felt like a series finale and not a season finale, but I think it was just wrapping up the first phase, and now we're gonna go to the next phase.
I think we saw, like I've been saying it, and you've even questioned me about it, but it does feel like you said it could be a series quote unquote finale, that we're not going to get a quote unquote Mandalorian show again. Season 4 is going to be something totally different. I think the way that they're doing things, I think that we're going to see this story continue in Ahsoka. The way that they set it up, I think we may see I think we may see the Mandalorian in Ahsoka because
It's possible.
Because he was like, hey, I want to work for the New Republic. And you could see him pop up in Ahsoka. You could see the Mandalorians pop up in Ahsoka or whatever the next series is going to be after Ahsoka. Because you've got to remember, Mandalorians are in it for money, man. They will fight you one day and be your best friend the next, depending on who's paying them.
My counterpoint with the whole argument that the next season about the Mandalorian will be about someone else and not Din is that he left, like he's been struggling to get back to Mandalore, and now he's been given this chunk of land on Navarro to be a bounty hunter to do privateering for the New Republic. Like, we can easily follow him without the rest of the crew because he's been isolated and siloed on another planet. So it's like that. I would subscribe to that idea if he stayed on Mandalore.
Okay.
But
I mean,
we'll talk about it next week.
Well, they've also wrapped it up. We're not going to have it next. No, not. We're talking about other stuff next week, but I know we got to wrap it up.
No, I'm saying that was a joke because we usually bring this up. Same thing with World Between Worlds.
Right. We'll talk about it again.
No.
Well, you see, they also wrapped the way that they wrapped that series up and wrapped that up, that storyline. They left it, hey, go take Grogu to do all these travels and then come back when you're done doing all your travels.
Yeah.
So the only thing I didn't like about all that is technically you should have seen him out of his armor at the end of the,
Tick. You said
tick.
Technically, so I went tick.
You could have seen him out of the armor in his cabin. He could have been sitting there without his armor on.
He could have. And it's just like, you could take that helmet off anytime you want, go to the waters and just be like, all right, Mandalorian again, I'm good.
Yeah. But then you got to pay. Well, yeah, you're right. But now that the water's right there, you just be like, hey,
right there. It's available.
I mean, and I did
if
notice
he sneezes,
something.
his helmet pops off. He just goes back into the water. I'm Mando again. Okay, we're good.
Or just keep your damn mouth shut next time, dude. Because truthfully, the way that they do it is if you're by yourself or if you're around family is the only time you can remove your helmets. And that's how we get baby Mandos. So Mandalorians do not keep their helmets on to make baby Mandos anymore. They can, in family, they can take their helmets off. Shoot, I had a thought and I forgot it. Oh, no, I remember it now. If you remember, it's kind of interesting because the season starts and ends with Paz Vizsla's son getting baptized.
Yeah. And that's just Dave Filoni's good writing.
Yeah.
That Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, they start it and they end it. It's book ended.
Right. And I didn't realize
it was interrupted. And like, that just goes back to tying everything up really well. Like all the threads have been tied up.
Right. They did. They tied up. They left if you look at the first episode and they were like, here's the 6 ways this season can go. They tied it all up by the end, which is, you're right. It's amazing story writing.
I think you can argue about whether you liked it or not, but I don't think you can argue that it wasn't well written.
No.
The structure was there.
Yeah, no, I think I've also heard that the reason why him and Favreau and Kathleen Kennedy kind of got into it, and that's why we got the Mandalorian, because I think there was rumors that Jon Favreau was going to leave Disney because of Kathleen, and because she was too involved in the first 2 seasons in Book of Boba Fett, because that's why we ended up getting Grogu back in Book of Boba Fett, so that when Mandalorian came back around, he would be with the Mandalorian. And then the reason why this season kind of took a left turn was because Jon Favreau wrote it with no influence from higher ups. Yeah, you're smiling
Anytime I hear, I'm so sick of the Kathleen Kennedy rumors.
Yeah.
That I immediately dismiss them because it's like every perverted. There's just so many people just dying to get rid of Kathleen Kennedy. They're making up stuff. And Jon Favreau in an interview said, we just felt like we wanted to include them and get things going. Like that's it. It's not malicious. But that's just my opinion, my read on things. I don't she greenlit the thing. Like,
right. See, I mean, they did good. The sequel trilogy was not what they could have done a better job with it, but in the end of it, guess what? Star Wars is for my 7-year-old grandson. It's not for, I mean, it's for us, but it's written for him.
Yeah.
We enjoy it because we're kids at heart, but it's written for a 7-year-old, man, or a 10-year-old or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't want to get into the behind the scenes stuff, and I don't want to speculate behind that because I just don't know. And I just don't know how factual it is.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to repeat the venom of some dude spitting out hatred for Kathleen Kennedy.
Right. I have nothing against her. I mean, I don't see.
I know you don't.
Yeah. I want to reiterate that part.
Yeah.
I have nothing against anything that they're doing right now. I'm enjoying it. It's Star Wars. I mean, how could we go wrong, man? We're getting we got two shows this year. We're going to get 3 or 4 shows this year and 2 or 3 shows next year.
Yeah.
And a movie in the year after that.
I am curious, after George Lucas and Kathleen Kennedy, 2 titans in the industry, who can run Lucasfilm now? Because at some point she's going to retire. Like,
I've yelled at him on an escalator, man. That's who can run Lucasfilm.
Oh, Dave Filoni. I want Dave Filoni making content, though, because he's excellent content. And if he's making a movie, he can't run a company.
All right. Okay. I did. Oh, my God. I saw him and Jon Favreau was doing an interview one time, and they just were not going at it, but they were having the conversations you and I have.
Yeah, they feed off of each other.
Oh, my. It was so incredible to see the way those 2 guys work, because they were just a couple of nerds having a conversation over lunch that decides everything millions of people are going to watch.
Yeah.
And they know their shit when it comes to Star Wars, which, dude, you can't argue. And Dave Filoni or Jon Favreau, whatever, they've been talking to Timothy Zahn about when they bring in Thrawn on. So they've been talking to the guy who created Thrawn, preparing to bring him into live action.
Yeah.
So that right there tells you, Star Wars is in good hands. We're not going to like everything they do, but they're going to give us some damn good content.
Yeah.
Because guess what?
Well,
you're not going to please everybody.
No, you're not. It's impossible to please everyone. You just please yourself and do your best. Make something you want to see or read, and that's it. Because today's National Book Day, and I have a book.
Where can I get your book, Jason?
It's on Amazon.
What's the name of your book?
Atlantis Kingdom Come. It's a sci-fi, it's a fantasy adventure with some romance in it about the destruction of Atlantis.
Here, hold it up, because we didn't see it. I couldn't see it. So hold it up in front of your face.
Some 16,000 years ago. Is it coming through? I'm not looking.
A little bit. Now
it keeps going.
It keeps disappearing.
This is working for an audio podcast.
Yes, it is. There you go.
Atlantis Kingdom Come, available on Amazon.com.
I'm trying to make a Back to the Future joke, and I just can't put 2 and 2 together.
I'd also like to remind you that the Georgia Alliance of Star Wars Collectors is hosting its first toy show on Saturday, May 13th from 11 to 4 at Second Chance Toys and Collectibles. This toy show is to benefit the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, CHOA. The event is free to the public. We'll have plenty of vendors to shop from. This has been approved by the 501st as an appropriate event they could participate in. We look forward to their help and all the photos that will be posted online afterwards. 100% of the raffle proceeds will go to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, and we'll also be accepting donations for them. CHOA, if you don't know, is a not-for-profit children's healthcare system dedicated to caring for infants, children's, teens, and young adults aged 0 to 21 throughout Georgia. I've been stuffy. I just realized I was working out in the backyard today.
Yeah.
And I think the pollen got into my nose, and I'm really stuffy today. So
yeah, that happened to my grandson. They were playing outside all weekend, and he's starting to talk like this, and we're like, dude, what's going on, man?
I started making custom shelf talkers for the event that I might sell for $20 each. I took some plastic and cut that down, melted it so it bends, so it's got that nice bend to it. It'll fit the IKEA D12 shelves. I measured it specifically for that. So if you have like tier, you can just put this Star Wars shelf talker. I'll say Star Wars, and I got to cut it out and apply the sticker decal. But hopefully I can sell those. They'll look good. I'll sell them, and for just the cost of $20, 100% of everything will go to Chilla. So hopefully that'll work out.
Nice.
And thank you for listening to the Smugglers Galaxy podcast. If you could please leave a like and a 5-star review of the show anywhere you listen to podcasts. If it's allowed, it really helps us out and points people to our show. Follow us on social media. You can social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Send us an email or message us. We love feedback and we love to make you part of the show. Our email address is smugglersgalaxy@gmail.com. Thank you to Alfonso Riviera for the Smugglers Galaxy logo. You could find him at the Rock the Force podcast. And thank you to Levi Waterhouse for the Smugglers Galaxy music. Hasbro re-release VC66, hashtag vote with your wallet. Sabine will be on next week. Pass on what you've learned. Be a positive force in the collecting community. This is the way.
Like a banta. This is the way.
We said the wrong thing.
I know, but I was thinking about Boba Fett and like a banta.
Like a banta.